Hi, my first guest today is, well, me. How are you?
Okay, and you?
Pretty much the same as you, I guess. It's pretty hard to do a show when you can't get a guest. What's wrong with me? I mean, you. Okay, let's start. Why am I doing this? To see if it works? Well, you could have changed your clothes.
I did. I put on my Mets hat.
Yeah, well, I guess you did. Thank you. You're welcome. Tell me a joke.
Two men walking with their dogs get to a bar, and there's
Yeah, the sign says no dogs allowed. I know that one.
How about the one about the two old couples that are in a restaurant? And
Yeah, that one too. Hey, Rose, what's the name of the restaurant? Yeah. Is there any joke that you don't know? Let me tell you a joke. A sandwich walks into a bar and asks for a beer. And the bartender says, "We don't serve food here." You thought that was funny. Bye. Hi. Yes, I do have someone to interview today. But before that, I want to tell you that the video you saw last week, the Diana video, it was a young 17-year-old running towards the camera at the beach. That was not my son. That was indeed me. I've got thousands of calls and cards and letters, well, maybe 4 or 5, to tell me, hey, Herson, look, when I was 15, I had an 8mm wind-up camera, and I shot a lot of things, including the first Puerto Rican State Parade that I shot was in 1963. But we do have a guest today. Her name is Jennifer Just. Jennifer and I met back in '84. She was an intern at Channel 57 when I was working there, and we worked on a lot of projects together, and have been friends ever since. So here's Jennifer Just. Hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
Good, Will. How are you?
30, 40 days now.
Yeah.
So where are you shacked up?
I am shacked up in my house in Connecticut. I feel very grateful to be in a nice big house.
Is that a dog behind you there?
Yes.
Oh,
There's 2 dogs. They're from Puerto Rico. They're Satos.
yeah, rescue dogs. So you
Yeah.
brought them in. So do you speak Spanish to them?
Un poquito. In fact, I used to say venga. They come to venga. And Evan went online to look up to look up the most popular women's names in Puerto Rico, and he picked Sophia and Dayanara. And you told me that Dayanara was like Miss Universe or
She
something?
was Miss Universe. So how you been doing? How you lasting all through this?
It's weird because my life hasn't really changed that much because I was working at home. I don't go out a lot anyway. I mean, I do, I travel and go to New York and stuff, and I have friends, but I feel like my life has not changed nearly as much as most people. I mean, people who lost their jobs or are still trying to work. But it's just as a human being and as someone who writes and thinks maybe a little too much sometimes, just not being able to hug people. I have a happy hour every Monday that I would go to, and we would always hug at the end. And
Yeah.
I mean, thank God for the dogs, actually, because they're very huggy.
Now they're saying that the animals can get the coronavirus.
They are saying that, and they said that if you get coronavirus, your dogs or your animals are not allowed to touch you. That is not going to not happen. They're going to be all over me.
I want to remind you of when we worked back in, it was '84. You
Yeah.
were an intern at Channel 57, and we worked on a lot of interesting projects. But the one that I liked the most was when we did the 350 anniversary.
Oh, God, I remember so much of it.
Do you remember this? On a warm day in Springfield back in 1904, the Geisels gave birth to a boy, Theodore. He probably didn't seem different at first, not at all, but then again, Dr. Seuss was only so small.
Here in Springfield, he grew and grew while his dad ran for mayor in the Forest Park Zoo.
Birds, bears, and politics. What would that do to you? Soon, Seuss was writing children's books.
He wrote about cats. He wrote about Zooks.
Horton of Who fame and Sidwick the Moose and other such creatures from the Zoo of Zeus. He wrote about Mises and Mooses and Mices. He made up those rickety Geisel devices. He led all us children to his off-the-wall beat. And to think it all started
on Mulberry Street.
You must be reading that.
No, I'm not.
You remember that? Even I don't remember that.
And you wrote it.
So many things that I learned from you, and that was one of them, where I remember I had written one version and you said, I know you can do better than this.
Yeah, I didn't know you remembered that. I do remember that. I said,
I remember that so well.
And you came back with a perfect Zeus.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting a call from my senator.
Oh my God. Oh, we're back. You just talked to the senator. What did he have to say? He wanted
he calls me all the time. Like, it's just crazy. It's going to be fine. I remember also when we did the neighborhood shoots, which were really very interesting also. And I remember Mark Ursling like wanting to send security guards with us or something. I wasn't scared. And certainly, and going with you and talking to people that I never would have talked to otherwise, it just was a great experience. And I remember doing the paranda with you, going to the paranda. That was...
Yeah, we went to a paranda in Holyoke.
Yeah.
I remember in the neighborhood shows, I used to interview the mayor. One time the mayor couldn't do it live, so we taped him prior. This was the one in Liberty Heights, the Irish neighborhood. And so while they're playing the tape live, I'm talking to the audience and we're fooling around and we're laughing and stuff like that. And then they say, you're on. And the whole place is hysterical. And I had to say that we're not laughing at the mayor. It just looks that way.
Richie Neal, who's head of Approps now.
I know.
Right.
Speaking of politics, you're really into politics. You supported, of course, you met Obama and you supported Elizabeth. And you went to a couple of to the primary up in New Hampshire, right?
Yep, I did.
What was that like?
People were on the fence about her the whole time. But they really loved her. Like, there was this one person who said, if I had to vote, with my heart and my gut, I'd vote for her. And I said, well, why aren't you doing that? And he said, I don't think she can win. And I said, but she can win if you vote for her. Yeah. So there was some really fascinating conversations that I had.
Let me change the politics to something that I saw on your Facebook page. You went to Chernobyl. Why did you go to Chernobyl and what was there?
It was never on my bucket list, but honestly, the more I thought about it, the more fascinating I thought it would be, because it's a place that's been untouched since the mid-'80s. And I'd also happened to see a documentary where all these animals have moved back into Chernobyl because there aren't people anymore. It's sort of rewilding, and it actually has been kind of a lesson in, which we're kind of learning now with coronavirus. So like if you leave spaces alone, nature will kind of...
That's happening now, yeah.
It's interesting because when I first thought about it, this is going to be fun and sort of funny, but you get there and it's a scene of a tragedy.
Yeah.
We got there the night that the information dropped about President Trump talking to Zelensky about Biden. It was just so weird being in a place where all this news was happening. To have gone to places that were absolutely, people were told to leave and basically were told, oh, you can come back and get your stuff. Well, they were never allowed to actually go back and get their stuff. It's still very toxic. In fact,
did you have to throw your clothes away after you left?
As they said, if you get any of your clothes contaminated, they will be confiscated from you. So you've got to bring like your least favorite clothes or whatever.
Yeah.
There's just some really incredible artwork in there. And it turned out that was totally legal, but there was a 16-story apartment building that we walked through, and that was totally illegal.
Yeah, there was apartments and baby rooms and stuff like that. I've seen, I know some of your pictures and other pictures I've seen. I guess there's a lot of places in the world I'd want to go to, but I never thought Chernobyl would be one of them. Although, like you, I think it's fascinating. I'm constantly looking at pictures of them because you could see where life just kind of stopped. Everything stood still, So what's your plans now? What are you going to do until we can go out?
Actually, the first thing I'm going to want to do is go down to Washington, D.C., which is where I grew up, because I had this whole trip planned. Yeah. So I'm going to go back and see my friends down there. But yeah, it's really, I feel like I don't know. It's just such a weird feeling. I was joking with someone the other day that, but it's not really even a joke that just doing the dishwasher cycle, like the dishwasher ending is like an event now, like
Yeah.
just something that punctuates the
That's
day.
why I do this, because it's an event. I sometimes sit around saying, "Oh, I got to call somebody." I got a couple of people want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it, and I find it hard to start. But once I start, I find that the 2 days it takes me to do it is a joy because I'm doing something.
Exactly. Well, the other thing is I'm working on a book about my great great grandfather who was the mayor of Chicago in the
Yeah, he was the mayor of Chicago. Speaking about stuff we did in Springfield, we did something on the Duryea. And
Yes.
it was the first automobile race was in Chicago, from
Yes.
Chicago to Evanston.
Waukegan, I think it was.
Yeah, maximum speed was like 7.5 miles an hour. And during that race, your great grandfather
Great great grandfather was mayor.
was mayor of Chicago at the time.
There are these hilarious illustrations during the time. One of the cartoons says horseless carriages. Next thing you know, there'll be smokeless cigarettes.
We also did the Indian motorcycle and bird's eye. And it gotten to the point where I'm such an expert on Springfield history, which is something I'll probably never use in my life. And I mean, where am I going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to teach a course on Springfield history when I go to Puerto Rico. But we did so many things about Springfield that I really feel like I'm an expert. I mean, who knows who Julia Buxton is? And she made wallets.
Well, Will, I think it actually did spur my interest in working on this project and knowing so much about Springfield. And also because Springfield's heyday was in the 1880s and 90s.
Right.
The Chicago of that time feels very familiar to me because of all that research that we did.
Yeah. One of the people we did was John Brown, the abolitionist who went to the St. John's Congregational Church. And we did a live show from that church, which is a historic church. It was an amazing time. Anything else you want to bring up that, baseball fever or?
Oh my God, baseball fever. So Will and I created a fake company newsletter.
There was an article about one of the guys who was in the men's room when Dukakis, who was running for president, walked in there, and he was sitting. The article is about how he's sitting taking a poop next to the guy who could probably be the president of the United States. The last one, there's an article where I finally sell the paper to the Springfield Union.
That's right.
Because I wanted to buy a Mercedes or something. My dedication to journalism was washed out, but it was fun. It was fun. Those are fun days. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go. All right.
Sounds
we'll talk
good.
soon then.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Where do I stop this, Herson? This is what I told him.
End the call.
End meeting. Bye.
Bye.
That's our podcast for this week. I hope you're all in a safe and warm and comfortable place. And I know it's been hard. It's going to get harder. It'll probably be a little longer, but we'll do it. We'll get through it together. So until next podcast, thank you for watching.